welcome to the course Design Practice, lecture module 36-37. I am Sanjay Kumar, course TA for this course, and today we will study a new topic that is called group technology. Group technology, in this topic you will know how to organize the workshop such that where machines will be assembled and parts will be distinguished with each other. Okay, in group technology is a manufacturing philosophy that seeks to improve productivity. Actually, this motto of this group technology is to improve the productivity by grouping parts and products with similar characteristics into families and forming production cell with a group of dissimilar machine and process. It means it's a grouping of product and machine so that your productivity can be improved. Okay, this was first introduced by Frederick Taylor in 1999 as a way to improve productivity, and one of the long term benefit of group technology is it helps implement a manufacturing strategy aimed at greater automation. Okay, using your GT, you can transform your industry into a automation. That is the requirement of 21st century, automation. Okay, why group technology? Group technology, it helps in a average lot size decreasing, because lot size are continuously decreasing in every industry, part variety increasing. Okay, now it's a pressure on any industry to increase the variety of parts. Suppose that you can take example of mobile phone. Okay, so that in every year manufacturer has to design in a new mobile phone in a such a way that whole their designing will be slight different with previous one. Okay, so this is the most challenging task and as well as the pressure input on industry. Increased variety of materials with diverse property. Okay, now every industry is going in direction of lighter material, lighter and stronger, as well as cheaper. Okay, so focusing on these characteristics, so company had a lot of pressure on him, so that because of materials, variety of materials are increasing, requirements for closure tolerance. Okay, now parts are fabricating with close tolerances, and it increases cost. Okay, so that's why if group technology comes into the play. Okay, so using the group technology you can achieve your close tolerance, and you can manage your industry, your fabrication process with the variety of materials and variety of parts you can fabricate using this technology. So I am taking one example for that. So this is the fast food chain. Okay, doctor, dentist, and also manufacturing. So in fast food chain, what happens? One company is opening lot of store all over the world, but most challenge of task is maintain taste of food and as well as quality of food. So with the help of group technology you can achieve this kind of properties for a food chain store. And similarly you can see here the family of part. I will explain what is the family of part. Okay, you can see here they are the 4 parts and each has some similarity. All are circular in a shape, so that this is the circular shape. You can distinguish these objects by circular shape. Okay, so they are called family of part. So implementing group technology. Where to implement group technology? Generally, plants using traditional batch production and process type layout where you can implement your group technology. If the parts can be grouped into part family, okay, part family. So product with similar characteristics can be grouped together. Okay, and this group is known as part family, where you are grouping variety of products with a similar characteristics. Okay, how to implement group technology? First, you will have to identify part family so that you can make lot of family, family 1, family 2, family 3, and each family has a variety of parts which have a similar characteristics. Rearrange production machine into machine cell. So to implement group technology, you will have to rearrange your production machine, existing production machine, into machine cell. So machine cell, what is machine cell? It's a group of machines with similar kind of operation. For example, drilling machine, boring machine. You can plug both machine into one, so that because main task of these machines are to make a hole and to enlarge a hole. Okay, with a higher dimension. Okay, so the grouping of these machines with similar characteristics is called machine cells. So in group technology, you will have to do first two things. First, you will have to group together, you will have to make a part family, first one, and second one, machine cells. Okay, here in part family, variety of parts. This is a group of variety of parts, and here as well as variety of machines. Okay, so you will have to first identify your part family, then you will have to make a machine cell, and for machine cell you will have to rearrange your production machine, so that group technology can be implemented. Okay, so first I will discuss what are the types of layout. These are the layout means arrangement of workshop, for example. Okay, so in most of today's factory, it is possible to divide all the made components into family and all the machines into group. Okay, all the components into family and all the machines into group. So in such a way that the part in each family can be completely processed in a one group only. Okay, so that your idle time will get reduced. Okay, and finally your productivity will be increased. Generally, there are three main types of existing layouts are used in industry. First one is line layout, that is also called product layout. Second one, functional layout, and third one is a group layout. So what is the line layout? Actually, in this layout, you, as name signifies, product layout. So machines, so it is arranged in such a way that product, here you can see it involves the arrangement of machines in one line depending on the sequence of operations. Okay, so suppose that if you want to make a screw thread, uh, threaded screw, so first you will have to do, first you will have to make a shank, say, hole without threaded one screw. Then after that, in another machine there will be threading on this part. Okay, so here it will done on M1, it will done on M2. So this is in product is arranged in such a way that operation will get in sequence manner. Okay, in product layout, if there is a more than one line of production, there are many line of machine. Okay, so suppose that they are parallelly, uh, line layout is used at present in some simple process industry in continuous assembly and for mass production of components required in very large quantity. Here in this example you can see that, for suppose that for product 1 it will get processed in this way. Okay, this was the machine 1, M2, M3 and M4, and finally it will get out from the your assembly, your workshop. Okay, that will the final product. Similarly for P2, P3, here you can see that for each product they are parallelly three machines are required here. Okay, 3 L machines are required here, one M machine is required. Again when this part will get processed, after that it will go through there. Again there is another machine is required, similar kind of machine is required. So here you can see that there are a number of machines, engagement of number of machines are more. Okay, and one foreman and one team of workers complete each part. Okay, here you can see that in each production line there is one foreman and one team of workers. Okay, worker 1 here, W2, W3, W4, there are 4 worker in a one production line, another in production line 2, another there will be W5, W6, W7, W8 here. So you can see that their manpower requirement is high. Okay, so in this kind of layout machines requirements are high and as well as manpower requirement is high, so that cost will be, the product cost will be very high as compared to other layout process. So here the second type of layout is the functional layout. Functional layout, in functional layout all machines of the same type are laid out together in the same section under the same foreman, and each foreman and his team of workers specialize in one process and work independently. Okay, so this type of layout is based on process specialization. Okay, here what happens, here machines or similar kind are grouped together. Okay, here you can see that there are 4 machines are available of similar L machine 4 number. Okay, here also number of M machine 4, here also there number of G machine 4, and similarly here. So okay, this is the workstation 1, group 1 you can say, group 2, group 3 and group 4. Here one product will come here, so that what will happen here, it will get processed out, then after finishing this work it will go through in this group 4 area, and here in machine D it will get processed again, then again it will go from here to there, and again it will finally it will out from the your workshop as a product, final product. Okay, so in this kind of layout there are 4 foremen and their men are involved in component completion. Okay, so in previous layout what you saw, there are 4 foremen was required there. In each production line there are 4 worker with 1 foreman. Okay, so number of worker was 5, human being was 4 plus 1 is equal to 5, again here 5. And in this case you can see that there are only 1 foreman and 1 foreman, 1 foreman, 1 foreman. Here foreman, and on each machine, if these machines are worked in sequentially, then only 1 worker will be required. If all machines are engaged parallelly, then it may be possible that more than 1 worker will be required in each group. So that as compared to your product layout, here number of human worker will be reduced. Okay, and also there will be it will act in a functional manner. So that suppose that you have a 3 part family, P1, P2, P3. These are the part family. Part family I told you earlier, what is the group of similar kind of parts. Okay, here it may be possible that 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 4 parts in the will be there in a one group, so that is called P3 part family. So okay, so suppose that one part family will come here, and there is a one drilling is required, so it will all drilling of will be processed in this machine, then it will transfer to this machine again. Okay, so it's work in a functional manner. Okay, now last one is a group layout. In a group layout, each foreman and his team specialize in the production of one list of parts and cooperate in the completion of common tasks. Okay, this type of layout based on component specialization. Okay, here what happens, one foreman and one team of worker complete each part. Okay, here one part family enters in group 1 area. This is the group 2, group 3 and group 4. And what will happen, this part will processed only in this group only. Okay, and each machine there will be one specialized person assigned to these machines, so that what will happen, when it will come to here, then a specialized person will process this part in this machine, again this will transfer it to this machine drilling, and after that drilling milling will take place here. So it, as each machine one worker is assigned, and these are the specialized to doing this work in a lathe. Okay, so here what happens, they are the your after the at exit your, that will, it will come at as a come out as a finished product. Okay, so here again part P2 will come enter in this place like this one, then it will maybe done this, again this one, it will enter into lathe, and after that it will take out. Okay, so here you can see that all family part 1 P1 P2 P3 P4 are processed parallelly with a similar number of human being as compared to functional layout. Okay, but here productivity is higher in this case, because your all machines are engaged in the same time, and your 4 products are available, finished product are available. Okay, so this is the most appropriate layout that is being used in an industry, that is called group layout. Okay, so what actually I am showing you what is the difference between group and functional layout. They are the, this layout is called functional layout. Here in this operation you can see that this is the office, here material enters here, and there are lot of machines are available, lathe machine, milling machine, drilling machine, and you can see that in each product will enter in this workshop, and it will process at various machine, and after that the transportation of this product part from one machine to another machine, it creates a zigzag path. So it is a very complicated, and it is very difficult to manage for a production engineer. Manage the workshop. So if number of part are less, then it may work out, but generally in actual condition what happens, due to variety of parts are processed in a workshop these days, so that they are the paths, they are the very, it becomes very complicated. Okay, so as compared to your functional layout, here you can see that in a group layout, here you can see that everything is very well mannered, designed. Okay, one part will enter through one group, and here what will happen, when it will go through there, then lathe machine, then milling, drilling, and after that it will come out as a finished product. Okay, so here you can see that it is very simplified. Okay, it takes very low space. Okay, and lower in a one part moved in a very lower area as compared to your functional parts. Suppose that here one part enters here, it will go through there, then it will come out there, so it moves. So transportation time is higher. Transportation time of part in a workshop is higher. Okay, here it is very, parts are fabricated in a very simplified manner. Okay, so I am giving you one example. Suppose that we have a 3-part family. P1, sorry, A, B and C. Okay, so in a functional layout, what happens, they are group of machines of similar functionality is placed at group wise 1 2 here 11 12 13 here 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. Okay, there are 15 machines are available, and it has a, we have divided in a two 5 groups: group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4 and group 5. Okay, so for a part family A, it enters group 1. Okay, and it will processed in a machine 1, then it will move through the group 2, it will again processed in a machine 11, then it will move through move into a group 3. Here it will process now. After finishing the work on machine 11, it will get into machine 4, then from here it will get transferred to the machine 4, and after that it will go machine 9, again machine 10, then it will come as a final product. Okay, similarly for machine, for part family B, it will enter here on machine 7 and group 2, then it will move through the group 1 in machine 2, again it will move through machine 13. Okay, then it will go move to group 4, group 5, sorry, and it will come out as a final product. So here again for group part family C, it will enters into group 4 on machine 8, then it will move through group 2 on machine 12, then group 1 on machine 3, then on group 2 on machine 6, then it will move to group 5, machine 5, then it will come out as a final product. So you can see that how it's a very complicated, all parts are moved in a very complicated manner. So you'll have to design very precise design is required, and it takes lot of floor space. Okay, the other, and so that suppose that after for a part family C, after finishing the work on machine 8, it will move to machine 12 in a group 2. Okay, so these are the the time required to reach from 8 to 12, it is very high. Okay, and also it will have to design the pathway for each part family to transport from each one machine to another machine. Okay, and if suppose that similar part family, if you process in a group layout, then the group in a group layout, what happens, one part family will enters in only one group, and it will processed on various machine, and after that it will come out as a final product. So instead of making 5 groups, you will have to make, since we have a 3 part family, so you will have to make 3 group 1, group 2 and group 3. And here what will happen, part family A will come to 1, then it will, here we are, what we are doing, we are rearranging the machining position of machine, and we are making a new groups. Okay, so 1 to 11, again 11 to 4, 4 to 14, and 14 to 9, 9 to 10, and after that it will come out as A will enter here in a 1, and it will out at 10, AF, that is the final product. Okay, similarly for a part family B, it will enter at 7, then it will move to 2, then it will again move to 13, then it will move to 15, and it will come out as a final product. And similarly in a for a part family C, it will first it will enter at machine 8, then it will go to 12, then it will go to the machine 3, after that it will go machine 6, then it will go to machine 5, and finally it will come out as a final product. Okay, so you can see that the number of grouping is lesser than as compared to function layout, and as well as these complicated pathways are completely eliminated or partially eliminated in group layout. Okay, so always, that's why group layout is better than function layout. Now, now come to the point how you will identify your part family, because in a group technology I told you two things are required: part family, and second one is machine cells, grouping of machine of similar nature and grouping of parts, machine cells. So now we will discuss how to identify your part family. Large manufacturing system can be decomposed into smaller subsystem of part family based on similarity in design attributes and manufacturing features. Okay, so first you will have to break down your whole one product into a, you have to disassemble this product in a variety of P1, P2, P3. Again P1 will have to decomposed in a P11, P12, P13 similarly. Okay, and this distribution decomposition will have to done on basis of design attributes and manufacturing features. After that you can club your parts in a one family. Okay, so design attributes. What are the design attributes? Part configuration, for example, round or prismatic, dimensional envelope, length to diameter ratio. You can distinguish your parts using a L by D ratio. Okay, surface integrity. Okay, surface roughness, dimensional tolerance. Suppose that we have a one ball, one square, and each have a surface roughness of 10 micron. So we can club both parts in a one group on basis of surface roughness. Okay, material type. Suppose that this is made by steel. Again, it is made by steel, but shape is different, but material is same. So that we can club both material in a one family. So raw material state. So it depends on the how you are planning to make a family of different parts. Okay, the other design attributes. Okay, and part manufacturing features, and they are the manufacturing attributes. How you will club your parts according to your manufacturing features. For example, operation and operation sequence. Suppose that in each part turning is required, so you can club those parts in a one group, so that that will be called one part family. Batch size, machine tool, cutting tool, work holding devices, processing times. So they are the way to do how you will make a part family. Okay, on basis of design attributes and manufacturing features, you can identify your part family. Group technology emphasis on part family based on similarity in design attributes and manufacturing. Therefore, GT contributes to the integration of CAD and CAM, because you are using design attributes as well as manufacturing attributes. Okay, manufacturing attributes. So these attributed to CAD, and this related to CAM. Okay, so finally, actually in actual case you are clubbing CAD and CAM. So that's why in a group technology techniques, this is the complete integration of CAD and CAM. Okay, computer aided designing and computer aided manufacturing. Part family. Okay, now I will tell you what is the part family. A part family is a collection having similar design characteristics. Okay, here you can see that, for example, these are the different parts, but it has a these have a similar characteristics. So you have to make a drilling of diameter A in each part, so that they are the round in shape. Okay, so you can club together in a one family. Okay, they are the manufacturing process. So here you can see they are the part part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6, but each parts required similar kind of process. Okay, suppose that you will have to make drilling in each part, drilling, okay, here, so drilling will done here, drilling will done here. So these parts are grouped together on basis of manufacturing process. So these are the part family equal to function of P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6. Okay, on basis of your operation, drilling is required, so that in each part. So that's why you have clubbed together in a on the basis of manufacturing process. There are generally three methods of for identifying your part family. First one is visual inspection, second one is classification and coding, and third one is production flow analysis. Okay, I will discuss each methods in a detail. First, visual inspection method. Okay, in this method, what happens? Use photos or part prints, utilize subjective judgment. Okay, here you can see there are the variety of parts are available, but on basis of visualization, one professionals, experienced professionals are required for visual inspection. So by using visual inspection, you can distinguish these parts in a variety of groups, so that part family will be complete. Okay, here you can see that they are the, after visual inspection, there are two groups are there, G1 and G2 part family, and G1 part, G2 part family. Here they are the prismatic parts. Okay, this one, this one, this one, and this one. Okay, so they are the prismatic in shape, and here they are all are rotational part. So these are clubbed together, and they are clubbed together in a different. Okay, so this is completely based on the visual inspection. So but sometimes it is very fast process, but if the variety of parts are available, more lot of parts are available in a workshop, so it is very difficult for a engineer to distinguish the all parts in different groups. Okay, so it is very experienced professionals is required, and sometimes it result in incorrect results. Human error may be possible, different judgment by different people, because it is completely judgmental process and inexpensive. Yeah, it is very cost saving process, and less sophisticated and very fast, good for a small company having smaller number of part. Okay, so if you have a smaller number of variety of parts, so you can use visual inspection method to make a part family. Now second process, classification and coding. In this process, the process of assigning symbols to the part, where the symbol represent design attributes of part, manufacturing features of part, or both, code geometry or design, and manufacturing info about a component. Codes are alphanumeric strings. Okay, generally if you have a variety of parts, number of parts are available in your, you are going to fabricate in your workshop, so each parts you can have to make a code for that, so that you can distinguish each part, one part from another, using a codes. And classification, the process of categorization of a set of part into part family is known as classification. After coding, you can make a different groups, classify all code in a different groups, so those are known as part family. Okay, it is a class string of characters capturing information about an item. Three main types of coding systems structure are available. Classification in coding. First one is called monocode or hierarchical structure. This is a second one is polycode or chain type structure, and third one is mixed mode structure. Okay, here monocode. Here this is a code in which each digit amplifies the information given in the previous digit, and it is very difficult to construct. It is also known as hierarchical layout. Okay, coding system. Here you can see that first this one here suppose that one code is 32xx. Okay, here again this x, this one is depends on this one previous one, again it will so it makes a hierarchy of for that, and each code, one code is dependent on your previous code. Okay, so it is very difficult to construct and provides a deep analysis usually, and it is generally used for generally permanent information. So monocode generally used in a engine. So you can find in any automobile engine there a standard code is there, the unique code is available there, so that is generally based on monocode. And it provides a large amount of information, a relatively small number of digits, useful for storage and retrieval of design related information such as part geometry, metal size, etc. And it is very difficult to capture information on manufacturing sequence because in a hierarchical manner. So applicability of this code in manufacturing is rather limited, because suppose that you have a code 3 2 5 6 7, okay, and here this code is depend on previous machines, okay, operation. So you will not be aware on how it suppose that if you want to something some changes in your part, so you'll have to change your code also, but this code is dependent on previous one, so you'll have to again change your previous machine machining operation, so it is very difficult. Okay. uh, Another type of code is polycode. These code symbols are independent of each other, so the benefit advantage of this code is it is a independent of each other, and each digit in a specific location of the code describes a unique property of the work piece, and it is very easy to learn and useful in manufacturing situations. Even a foreman can understand what is the code meaning of that code. Okay, so polycode suppose that one part has to travel through four operation, and at each operation it signifies a one code. So and one worker who is does not belong to that workshop, but if you will provide a seat for coding seat to them him, so that what will happen, he can understand, okay, oh, this code is signifies to this operation, so this part can be processed in this manner. Okay, so here I will going to one example for that. Here suppose that one part has a one code that is called 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, so here 1 is signifies material, 2 it is always signifies metal shape, 3 is metal chemistry, 4 is production quantity, 5 is surface finish, tolerance is related to 6, and 7 is related to machine element orientation. Okay, here you can see that code 1 is completely different to independent to code 2. Okay, also code 3 is independent to 2. So suppose that if you want to change your shape of your part, so that easily you can change your shape of part. It will not affect your material, metal chemistry, production quantity, these kind of things. Okay, so this is the independent coding system. Okay, and easier to accommodate changes. Now one other example, you can see that there class of feature external shape, this is the this signified by 1. Again in a uh, for there are 4 digits are available, 1 2 3 4, and suppose that if you are choosing external shape, so here if you want to make it cylindrical with deviation, so you just will take 1 2, and so this will code will be 1 2. It means 1 2 means this part has a external shape and cylindrical in shape and without any deviation. Okay, so external shape can be either cylindrical, prismatic, so that's why 1 and 2 are independent. Now third one is a hybrid structure, and it hybrid structure it includes both polycode, monocode. Okay, so here you can see that it uses both type of codes, polycode and monocode also. Here you can see polycodes are independent 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 11 12 13 14 15. Okay, and here the monocode, suppose that this one is a depends on 15 12 9 6 and 3. Okay, so you suppose that if I am saying one code is available in a sequence of a, so you can't say on which machine and previous machine either 9 or 6 it has processed. Okay, so you will have to go in detail for that to know on which because it depends on a previous coding system. Okay, so on which machine it has been processed. So again here similar kind of here, and so that if you will mix together both codes, then it will become a hybrid structure. So I am going to give one example, that is the Optich classification system. This is based on the mixed mode system. So here it was developed by Optich and it is most widely used in industry. It provides a basic framework for understanding the classification and coding process, and it considers both design and manufacturing information. Okay, here this is the general form of mixed code in Optich classification system. Here there are three types of codes generally used in this system: form code, supplementary code, and secondary code. Okay, what is the form code? It focuses on part geometry, dimensions, and feature relevant to part design. And supplementary code includes information relevant to manufacturing, such as raw material, tolerance, and surface roughness. Okay, and it is, for example, it is signified by 6 7 8 9. And the secondary code intended to identify the production operation type and sequence, and it is generally signified by A, B, C, D. Okay, and it can be designed by the user firm to serve its own need. So it is not a standard coding system. You can change your coding system according to your requirement. Okay, so they are the basic structure of Optich system. Here part shape digit 1 signifies the part shape class rotation versus a non-rotational. Digit 2 signifies external shape features. Various types of are distinguished. Digit 8 signifies original shape of raw material. So there are variety of digits, and each has some meaning related to your code digit system. For here you can see, for basic structure in Optich system, they are the form code. Okay, here, and they are the part class. So suppose that for a part of dimension having L by D greater than or smaller than 3, so what you will first digit will be, this signifies the digit 2. Okay, so you'll have to select digit 2. And in a form code, suppose that it requires external shape element, then it will go through the internal shape element, machining plane of surface, other holes and teeth. So it will signify as a digit again 2. Suppose that it will go external shape is required. Okay, again for material characterization, here you will have to go supplementary code. Then again for material, you will have to, suppose you are taking materials type 7. So this code signifies the what is the dimension of your part, and in which machine it will go through, and what kind of material it is. Okay, so here in a more detail you can see, for suppose that L by D ratio is smaller than 0.5, and it requires, suppose that you are going to make a threaded screw, so you will have to assign this digit 5 for threading system. Okay, for digit 3, in digit 3 here again it requires, suppose that functional group, then it will have to take 6. Again suppose that no further machining is required, then it will, you will have to assign 0, and no auxiliary hole is required, so it will have to assign 0. So final code will be 0 5 6 0 0. This is the Optich system. So this 0 signifies the L by D ratio is 0 less than 0.5. 5 signifies that it will threaded a screw, and 6 is functional group is required, and there no further machining is required, and no auxiliary hole is there. Okay, so this is the form code, 5 digit form code. There you can see here one example for that. This is the one rotational part design below. Determine the form code in Optich part classification and coding system. So here you can see length is 1.5 and diameter is 1. So L by D is equal to 1.5. So for L by D 1.5, you have to take 1, you have to signify with 1, so digit 1 is equal to digit 1. Again, both ends stepped with screw threaded on one end. Okay, here you can see that at one end is screwed and it is stepped in the shape. Okay, so digit 2 is 5. Here you can see threaded, spreaded to stepped into both ends. So and one part is threaded, so you have to choose 5. Again, for internal shape, part contains a throw hole. There is a one hole, throw hole in this part. So for throw hole part, you will have to select here 1, smooth or step to one end, and no shape element functional group. So you'll have to choose 1. Again, planar surface machining, no machining is required, so 0. And auxiliary holes, there are no any auxiliary holes are there, so again on digit 5 it is signified as 0. So that final form code of this system is 15100. So this is the way how you will make a form code for your part, and this is very easy. Another example you can see here, L by D for 2 based on the pitch circle diameter of the gear. So first digit is 1. Again, for external shape there is steps on one side with a functional group, so second digit is 3. Internal shape, the third digit is 1 because of the throw hole. Plane surface machining, the fourth digit is 0 because there is no plane surface machining, there is no any machining on outer side. Auxiliary holes and gear teeth, the fifth digit is 6 because there are spur gear teeth on the part. Okay, here you can see that the teeth are available, so you'll have to assign it with 6. Okay, so final code will be 13106 for this system. Now this is the third type of coding system. This is called flow analysis, and product flow analysis is a method for identifying part family and associated machine grouping based on the required manufacturing process need for each part. Here you can see that you are they are here machines M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, M6, M7. Okay, and they are the part family A, B, C, D, E, F. So what you are doing, you are making a flow system. You are giving a 1 1 1 1 1. So machines are either 1, suppose that for part family A it will machine on M1 and M5, so you will have to assign it with 1 1. Rest of the will be either you can write 0 or nothing, 0 0. Again, for part family B it will processed only on 1, so rest of the machine it will be 0, you assign 0 0. So it is a matrix method. Here you can represent your flow system, flow diagram in a matrix form. Okay, so for example, for E machine it is it will processed on machine 2 and machine 3. Okay, now after doing this, which product will be processed on which machine, then you can group together. Okay, here you can see that C E I E I, so C E I. Okay, and it is processed on 3 2 6 generally, C E I. So here these are the 1 1 1, rest of the will be 0. So generally on a partially this C E I are one part family. Okay, and on basis of machining operation. So this is the based on matrix, mathematical matrix form. Okay, so selection, how you will select your classification and coding system. So first define your objective, then robustness and expandability, can it work with current product or accommodate unknown future product and application. Again, you will have to always keep in mind automation, because every industry is moving towards to automation, complete automation. Is it easy to get information in and out in a timely manner, so that automatic retrieval system is incorporating in industry. So you will have to make a code for accordingly. Will people use it or not? Cost, as an engineering decision with far-reaching impact, what is the true cost? You'll have to always keep in mind cost, because every industry is situated only for the making profit. So benefit of group technology, some of the well-known tangible and intangible benefit of implementing GTR: engineering, for engineering section, for equipment specification, facility planning, process planning, production control, quality control, tool design, purchasing, service, etc. So engineering design, if you are employing group technology in engineering design, so what will happen? Reduction in new part design, reduction in number of drawing through standardization, and reduction of number of similar part, easy retrieval of similar functional part, and identification of substitute parts. And you can easily change your design because based on your group technology, because if you are changing one part, so rest of them will be same, but only that particular operation will get changed using your group technology techniques. So another is layout planning. So you can plan your workshop in such a way that lead time is reduced and productivity will be higher, and reduced material handling effort because it requires space as well as manpower and time. Specification of equipment, tool, jigs and fixture. Okay, you can standardization of equipment, implementation of cellular manufacturing system, and your significant reduction in upfront cost incurred in the release of new parts for manufacturing. Okay, there are the other benefit in manufacturing process planning. There are the reduction in setup time and production time, alternative routing leading to improved part routing, and reduction in number of machine operation and numerical control programming time. Okay, so using group technology, process plan can be done. Production control, reduced work in process inventory, easy identification of bottlenecks, improved materials flow and reduced warehouse cost, faster response to schedule changes, and improved usage of jig, fixture, pallets, tools. So you can design one fixture for one part family, so that in one part family the variety of products are there. Okay, so these all product can be clamped in a one fixture. Okay, so number of fixture requirement is get reduced. Okay, so that is, you can also say that standardization of fixture. Okay, quality controlled, you always, if you will use group technology, then always quality will improve, overall quality will be improved. So reduction in number of defect leading to the reduced inspection effort. So because all products are machined in a well manner, so failure of parts is very few, so that inspection time will get reduced scrap generation. So if you so material saving will be done. Okay, better output quality and increased accountability of operators and supervisor responsible for quality production. Now purchasing, coding of purchased part leading to a standardized rule of purchasing. Economics in purchasing possible because of accurate knowledge of raw material requirements. Okay, so if you use standard coding system, so any buyer can check, you can check coding system of that part and can say that okay, this is the made by this material. Okay, so this is very easier, this will be very easier for the buyer as well as the vendor. Okay, so reduced number of parts and raw materials, simplified vendor evaluation procedure leading to just in time purchasing. Okay, also inventory will be also reduced using group technology, because if in a functional layout, near every machine has some space to keep their to hold some parts, so that those parts will get finished after in a serial manner. So those kind of inventory will get reduced in a group technology. Okay, customer service, accurate and faster cost estimates. You can estimate your cost of your product very efficiently, because you have planned everything for that. You have a well stabilized process layout, so that part will become this machine, it will get what is the lead time, what is the, how many workers will be required, and what will be the each work machine's efficiency, machine's production rate, so that you can including those all factors, you can estimate your cost in a better way. Efficient spare part management leading to better customer service and lower lead times. Okay, these are the benefits of the group technology. But as well as group technology has a certain limitations also, because in every industry you can't suppose that one industry is 50-year old and they are using functional layout, and suppose that if you are going to incorporate group technology, so what you will have to do, you will have to move your all machines from here to there, so it will take a lot of time, manpower, as well as cost. So sometimes a worker will not happy to change their work. So it is very difficult to sometimes it is very difficult to incorporate group technology techniques in existing old industries. But yeah, and it takes lot of money to incorporate these techniques. But if you will look in a long term, then group technology will be better for your industry in a long term, because it will suppose that you have invested 10 million rupees for incorporating group technology, so you can't return back those money in within a year, so you'll have to wait for that. Okay, so overall group technology technique is a very good technique to incorporate, so that it is a actually you can say that it's a factory designing layout designing system. Okay, so I am closing this module here, and in the next module I will discuss some other topics. Okay, thank you very much.